A lot of straying away from mechanic talk, which is, Johnny, do this with your hips. I want your hands here. Your elbows got to be up here. Keep your chin on the shoulder. Stuff like that. Okay, those are internal cues that they have to internally tell themselves to make an adjustment. I stray away from those and stray more towards constraint-based training or external cueing. Okay. Constraint-based training is, what we'll talk about in a little bit, we've got PVC pipes. I go light and heavy bats. We got plyo-care balls, which are sand-filled balls, hard to square up. So constraint-based drills are drills where we force the kids to be in uncomfortable positions, okay, and tell them to figure it out. Figure it out as in, hitting is an incredibly tough thing to do, all right? And probably by the time your kids are 10 or 11, they've seen 500 balls in their life. They've probably never seen the same two pitches twice, all right? Hitting is just one giant game of problem solving, okay? So if we can create environments where we're putting them in problem solving situations and where they're seeing different pitches from swing to swing, we can let them just try and figure it out on their own, okay? Two phrases I use a lot are embrace the suck, all right? Where we make our training environment very tough and tell them kind of just to figure it out, which is my second saying, right? Just figure it out. So we internal cueing versus external cueing. Internal cueing is, again, I need your hips to do this, you're going to sequence this way, whatever. All right. External cueing would be hit the ball to the grass in the outfield, all right? Hit the ball pull side, hit the ball off the top of the cage, opposite field, whatever. Put it over the shortstop's head. That's stuff where we can get away from them worrying about their bodies and more worrying about their production. We do this because prepubescent kids are incapable of taking your cue. So if I had a 12-year-old Aiden here, right, and I told him to, get your hands up like this, you're gonna sequence like this, I want you to leg kick like this, your head's gonna do this, whatever. And he does it, takes a perfect swing. I'm like, all right, great, do that again. Well, because he's prepubescent and he hasn't fully developed yet, his next swing is gonna look completely different. The reasoning is because they are incapable of road mapping backwards. And what I mean by that is, they can't take that perfect swing and roadmap back to, okay, how did I get there, right? They can't cue themselves to repeat motions, all right? So what we need to do is put them in environments where they just can kind of figure it out. And how I do that is we swing hard, all right? And we put the ball in the air. Okay, you can't turn on a Twins game without seeing exit velo, launch angle, and all that fun stuff. But where that stuff relates and is important within youth level is hitting the ball hard and putting the ball in the air is stuff that scales, all right? So at 10 years old, when you're one-hopping the fence, okay, those turn into home runs when you're 17 years old, all right? So also, there's a reason why there's 5 infielders, defensive infielders, if you want to include the pitcher, and 3 outfielders. There's just way more grass out there, all right? And our last bit on that is our damage is done in the air. So we're talking doubles, triples, and home runs. You very rarely see them hit on the ground. All right? I call singles, nice consolation prizes. All right? They're sweet. We'll take them, but it's not something that we train for. All right? So we scale by hitting the ball hard, swinging hard in the air. All right? And then kind of on player development spiel, and this is a little bit of my kind of participation trophy spiel, but the importance of player development at the youth level, okay, is to develop them, all right? Nobody's gonna remember the Nobody Cares Invitational at 11 years old, all right? But what we need to do is develop them to be good baseball players, and if that includes sacrificing a little bit of our win-loss record, okay, to make sure, you know, at that level, the odds that somebody in this room has a kid that's going to be in the MLB in 15 years, it's fairly slim, all right? So we need to make sure, first of all, box 1, 2, and 3 that need to be checked are we're having fun, all right? And that we are trying to be competitive and playing for the right reasons, all right? And win-loss, even though I say competitive, okay, win-loss is not the right reason, all right, especially at that level. So we need to make sure we're having fun, being competitive, and swinging hard, all right? Swinging hard is the first step to throwing hard or hitting hard is wanting to, all right? It's intent-based, you just gotta swing hard, all right? Let's see, I think I had a little bit more on that. So my last, is this all, are you guys all player pitch? Yes, player pitch, okay. So this is another one of my millennial baseball spiels as well, is the talk on bunting, right? You also can't turn Twins game on without seeing the art of bunting bleeding, okay? And it's not really becoming that prevalent. The reason why I'm not a huge fan of giving the bunt sign, I haven't, coaching travel ball, I haven't given a bunt in 2 years, all right? Given down a bunt sign. You're gonna, if you guys go to an EP game this fall, okay, you'll see us square to bunt. We don't bunt for the same reasons that people bunt, other people bunt. We bunt with the assumption that we're getting on base, and it's called pressure bunting. We use it as a weapon. We're not moving runners over, and we're not telling little Johnny, who needs all the swings he can get at 11 years old, okay, to take the bat out of his hand and square around, all right? We need to emphasize, and also, okay, you know, 10 and 11-year-olds, the emotions are running high, especially within competitive environments, okay? I can't count how many times I've had conversations with players where, you know, they get down and they don't think their coach trusts them because they don't think you can get a hit, right? So you tell them to bunt. So, and it's obviously, you know, a lot of youth kids can't hit home runs, but I always say the best way to move a base runner over is 10 feet over the fence, all right? So we need to, as much as you can offensively, focus on getting swings and buying into your kids with that, okay? Because if they think that you're confident in them, okay, that just helps their confidence, all right? So a little bit of what we're gonna work on and constraint-based training is we have something called Clarker balls. You guys have seen potentially forms of those, okay? So they're hard plastic covered balls with sand in them, all right? And they're immediate feedback. We'll see when we hit with them, all right? They're immediate feedback and there's zero coaching going on with these, all right? They either go somewhere or they don't. If you don't hit them square, they're gonna drop straight to the ground, all right? Or if you top spin them, they're gonna nosedive towards the ground, all right? So this is training us, right, to hit the meat of the baseballs. These translate really well to squaring up baseballs, which are much easier to square up, all right? Stuff I'll do with those is, I'll talk about, might as well talk about it now, but I hit with overload, underload bats, which means overload is slightly heavier than their normal bats, and then underload is slightly less. Okay, it's about 20% each way. So 20% lighter, 20% heavier. The reasoning why we do this is the heavy bat is the equivalent of going to the weight room and lifting weights, right? You're teaching the body, okay, to swing stronger and string harder. The light bat is the first step to moving fast and swinging fast is by teaching it to move fast. So we're wiring it, right, with the light bat. You guys can do that. One thing I like to do with the youth is get a set of 3 different wiffle ball bats, you know, one with a massive barrel where it's easy, and then you can scale it down all the way to, you know, it looks like a broom handle, okay? So where you can scale up and down both the weight and the difficulty of hitting the ball, All right, you can hit those with whiffles or whatever. And then our last we have here. And one more thing on those plyos, okay? They don't go very far, especially at your kid's age. They're not going to hit them far enough or hard enough for them to go anywhere. So I know space limitations are something you guys deal with a lot between games or before games, right? You guys might have one cage. You guys might just have an outfield, all right? So a lot of getting plyo-care balls like that, where they're not going to go very far, or wiffle sets, okay? So I have 4 different lengths of 1-inch PVC here, okay? So we have a 33-inch, and we're going all the way up to 51 inches, all right? You can go to Home Depot right now, and you can get 2 10-footers of this. Or you can cut them into lengths of 33 inches, 36 inches, and 51 for one of them. And then the other one would be 36, 39, 45, all right? And what we're gonna do is, I encourage you guys, when we talk about the constraint-based training, making them uncomfortable, is vary what type of balls we're hitting. We're gonna hit tennis balls today, or you can hit wiffles with them. A lot of what we did in the outfield was we hit these, and I had a bag of golf ball size wiffles mixed with baseball size wiffles. You could, keep them uncomfortable, right? Because as your guys' kids, I don't know if you guys can throw off speeds, but when you guys get older, okay, they don't get the advantage of, they're not the Houston Astros, so they can't know its pitch is coming, right? So you vary the size of the ball. Maybe we throw 3 golf balls in a row. Maybe we throw 3 baseballs in a row. Maybe we mix in a tennis ball or 2, okay? Keep them uncomfortable. Keep telling them to figure it out. All right, so we're gonna demo some of these. And what we're gonna do is, I usually do a set of if you can get 3 bats or 4 here. So we'll do if we can do around a 12 here. We'll get 3 pitches per bat, all right? And let them pick whatever order the bats you want. At the end of the day, it doesn't care, but it allows them to have some control over their development, all right? And the point of the different lengths, right, is the feedback you're gonna get from having the 33-inch in your hand versus the 51 is going to be much different, and teaching them to figure it out. Okay, so we'll demo a few drills here. We'll do the PVCs first. Okay, he's only gonna get 2 pitches per bat. And I encourage them, if we're gonna do 2-3 rounds of this, okay, cue them to pick a different order this time, all right? Between each round, don't let them get consistent, right? Let them kind of just figure it out. So we're gonna front toss these. You guys can soft toss them. So, you've got maybe 3 hitters, and then the rest of the team's fielding, all right? Where we're just soft tossing wiffles or tennis balls, all right? Front tossing, want to flip them overhands, so be it, all right? So we're going to hit, all right? Be 2 per bat. Yep, it's like swinging a telephone pole. So, the big thing is let Nathan here kind of just figure it out. You saw him make an adjustment on the fly with, sometimes that long bat, that 51. The 51 might be a little big for you guys kids, okay? But you can take that 45 like I talked about, and that'd be perfect, okay? And just kind of let them embrace the stuff, all right? Because a lot of kids don't do this very well off the jump, okay? But it is a ton of fun. So we're gonna hit the plyo-care balls now with your normal bat. We can do rounds of, let's say we're in a cage, where I'm alternating plyos and baseballs, okay? I'll do a round of going from progressively harder to hit to easier to hit, so we'll do a round of 9 with 3 plyos, then we'll scale it to 3 tennis balls, then we'll do 3 baseballs, right? Keeping them uncomfortable and allowing them to adjust. My last kind of spiel I want to give is creating an environment of competitiveness when we train our hitters. All right. The importance of competitiveness is with everybody involved, it raises our water level. All right, and it's fun. Okay, like I talked about, the first 3 boxes we need checked when we're doing youth baseball is to make sure the kids are having fun. All right, we never talk about you talk where it is negatively. All right, and what I mean by that is, third and second with 2 strikes with the game on the line, Billy strikes out. Okay, that's on you, man. Okay, we never have those type of conversations with our kids, especially at this level, because it creates a not fun environment, a negative environment, and the relationship between you and that kid now is based around negativity. All right, so we always need to be positive and have uplifting conversation. And the competitiveness is important because we get that fun box checked, kids buy in, and they want to do better. Who doesn't like being better than their peers? All right, so we need to create environments, come up with stupid games that are stupid to coaches, but kids love. All right, one of the games I like to talk about is I came up with a kind of a baseball hitting version of Pig, where you get a bunch of different bats in the cage or on the field where they're hitting with the PVCs, a light and heavy bat, maybe you got a wiffle bat in the cage, okay? Where if Aiden and I are going against each other, okay, I get to pick a bat, and then I have to pick a location, all right? So I'm gonna say long PVC pull side. You get 3 pitches to hit something hard that way. If you do, you get a point, and everybody else has to do it, all right? You can do the Pig version of it, all right, where it's the equivalent of shooting your shot, or you can do a point system where you get points for accomplishing your goal and other people's goals, all right? Kids buy into that stuff, all right? I come up with, in the cages at the baseball facility I coach at, stupid games every day that 8-year-olds just eat up, all right? Is there any questions? I know we have the Q&A time, but I know when I go to stuff like this, I always lose my questions 45 minutes later. Yeah.
What you're doing with the variable weights and abs, I totally get that with strength muscles and stuff. Do you ever run into problems with your hands flying open when they get lighter bats?
Yeah, so especially when they're just doing it and within anything in the hitting environment, okay, they're gonna make awkward movements, okay, and that bat's gonna fly up if it's light. Happens with the 33-inch PVC. The whole purpose of stuff like that is, and why we stay away from that mechanic talk, okay, is no 2 hitters are the same, okay, so we're not gonna cookie cutter our athletes, and you don't know yet. I mean, you guys can kind of guess with how tall you and your wives are, okay, but you don't know if your kid's 6'5" or 5'10" yet, all right? So we need to allow them to be comfortable within the body type that they have, all right? And you can't cookie cutter our hitters. And you're gonna ask 10 different hitting coaches what perfect hand mechanics, shoulder mechanics, load mechanics are, you're gonna get 10 different answers. So what you need to do in an environment like that, where they look like they're swinging off, right? Ask them how they feel, what they're feeling, and if they say, oh, maybe we're flying over, yep, okay, I might agree with you. How are we gonna correct that? Okay, and now they get 2 more pitches or whatever it is to just kind of figure it out. Make that adjustment on their own, because you're not going to be able to coach them for the rest of their lives. The best thing to do is make them their own best coach. Make sense? Anything else quick? No? Perfect. We'll hang around for our 30 seconds.